The plight of the hunter is never easy, setting aside the moral quandary of having to end a life to put food on one's plate, and in this game, the survival of the appropriately named Roadrunner is in your hands, and you are tasked with a few token goals for each of the 4 individual stages. First and foremost, your goal is to reach the end of each stage. The end is located to the far left on each of the 4 individually designed stages, and you are also required to keep to the roads. This might not seem like a big deal, but in many cases the roads are thin lines of grey, snaking along the yellow desert sands, of which you are not allowed to run upon, keeping with the name of the game, I suppose. Once you reach the end of the stage, the scores are tallied, and bonuses handed out based on which of the other goals you have fulfilled. I remember this in the arcades, and although it seems super rare to find these days, it's still a great little game, and hopefully I'll come across it again whilst out and about on my travels, maybe at one of the retro events in the near future. So, the first and most important additional goal is to eat the small heaps of birdseed that litter the road. Leaving but one heap robs you of any bonus you would otherwise get, and while this is no big deal at first, the amount of heaps littering the road increases dramatically as you go along. The seeds also serve a secondary function, in that it fills up your seed meter, indicated by the separate Roadrunner head working its way down 5 plates of seeds. If the meter runs out, well, I suppose the Coyote will dine well that night. In fact, there was a few times where I'd succumb to the nasty Coyote, who was always hot on my trail, but once you get the hang of it, he becomes easier and easier to avoid. Alas, here's a quick montage of some untimely deaths that can occur.
Ah, jeez, did I just hit that ostrich?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's fine. Keep going.
The secondary goal is to avoid all the hazards, be that trucks, mines, and other background objects that are designed to make you a tasty treat. Most of these can be dealt with by simply jumping over them, with the exception of the trucks and whichever tools Wile E has at his command. The third, and no less important task, is avoiding the Coyote, and although he runs slower than you, he compensates for this with his trusty, or maybe not so trusty, Acme collection of items. If you run too far from him, he will catch up to you on his rocket-powered roller skates. He has also placed some items in advance that you will run past, like a horizontally aligned firework rocket, a pogo stick, and even a helicopter backpack, most of which are surprisingly effective. And therein lies the problem, for the game is notoriously fickle. The seed piles lying around are quite difficult to hit properly, partially because the Roadrunner is quite swift of movement, even if it doesn't hold a candle to its cartoon equivalent. Sometimes you will have to do the tango to get the seeds, as you and the Coyote circle each other, probing each other's weaknesses. But even so, that problem fades in comparison to the narrow labyrinths that make up the second and third stage, where you have to navigate paths that will stop you dead if you so much as touch the sands. These are not pathways that will so easily be conquered, for they are quite narrow and easy to get stuck in.
Meep, meep. Meep, meep. Meep, meep.
On a visual level, Roadrunner is actually quite pleasing. Not out of any sense of complexity, but the characters are clearly defined and easy to recognise, even if they lack the resolution of the arcade original. The music is provided by the awesome Fred Gray, with digitised versions of Tchaikovsky tunes, and serves to induce a rising feeling of sheer panic. It's a curious mix of blessings and curses in an otherwise alright game. The core idea is actually pretty good, but the conversion is a bit of a pain to play due to the fact that your Roadrunner will stop dead every time the game decides you've hit the border of the road, which makes for some amazingly frustrating segments in some of the stages, particularly the one where you have to deal with Wile E on a pogo stick. Anyone wanting a decent conversion of the arcade version of Roadrunner need look no further than this US Gold offering. It's about as close as you're going to get on the Commodore 64. Before I forget, however, there was another game published by High-Tech Software that came out in 1991, Roadrunner and Wile E Coyote. I'm sure that I'll get around to covering that at some stage in the future. For now though, as they say,
and that's all, folks.
thanks for watching, and please do hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you enjoyed or disliked about Roadrunner in the comment section. As always, I enjoy the feedback for these nostalgic games, and it's great to read that others have had similar experiences with these Commodore 64 games growing up. If you are enjoying the nostalgia, then do be sure to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check the playlists, as there might be other games on there that bring back a truckload of memories for you. Hopefully, I'll see you there. Until then, bye for now.